And then lastly, I'm going to show you some visuals on this, the Merrimack River Access Project. When I initially made a recommendation, it was close to $1 million because we didn't know what was going to be needed, but we're much further along in design. And the project now is $510,000, and I'll show you what essentially that will do. Patrick, if you could just pull that up.
I was pulling that up. Do we have access to the river where we have the pumping station? Off of River Road right now, there's a road that goes down right to the river, and there's the town's pumping station.
So, it's my understanding you can get a DPW like pickup truck down there. So
It's a full road. I mean, you can. It's a road.
Fire department said they don't have access. They would not use it as an access way. They would use the access by the apartment buildings if they had to go right now.
They have now.
Yeah. So what this would do is install the road, so that includes widening. What it does is, if we could go all the way out here, it just there's a curb cut on River Road. It connects the heifer onto the curb cut, so people could come in, take the turn, they could park, they'd have access. This includes a road that's already here, just widening it to the old boathouse. There'd also be some parking here. And really, this is a basic road. The docks, we've already secured. There'd be some improvements to the actual launch, and then a utility pole with camera and security, especially if we're going to be keeping town assets down there. But this, as you know, is a project long in the making. In some parts, it's a road widening project. In other parts, it's a road construction, because if you look at the easement we have over Greater Lawrence Tech, it's wooded. So they actually has to build a road.
From where the boat ramp is going to be there all the way to this floating seasonal dock. What is that? That's a new thing.
This isn't part of this funding. If we were to put docks, this is...
No, I'm just talking about the road. Just over the road.
It says gravel access.
Yeah.
Road drive.
Are we improving to the right of that?
So what would happen in phase one, we would really commit to our major themes here, which would be getting Greater Lawrence onto their property, creating the new access road down, and then at the beginning, the turnaround and the parking, creating the public safe fire boat launch and also public safety launch. Anything really to the right of that, where you see the additional parking and 20-foot gravel road and turnaround going towards the boathouse, most of that would have to be done in a phase two.
Yeah, okay, so just so I'm clear. The concrete boat ramp, Heffernan right away, goes the slight left. The Phillips Boat House was to the left. That's what we're talking about now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Go to the right.
Right. And up.
Okay, right there, okay. That's what we're talking about improving now. And I'm questioning from the right all the way down to here over. Yep.
So there's a road here now.
That's it's a...
Yeah, I think we're just
Take
talking
my car
about...
down there, but yeah, I know the road.
Yeah, and I could take my car. I don't know if it goes beyond that. I think it just widens it.
But the access for the safety is...
Yeah, so what you're doing is
Right
building
here.
out the capacity for phase two, which was the boathouse.
Right here.
Right, this is
it. Public safety, straight shot.
Okay.
Yep.
And we didn't think it was wise to put design funds into the boathouse till we master plan what we think the future use is. You don't want to be too short-sighted in figuring out future potential and parking, but you don't want to dump money into something until there's a definite plan what we could do with the boathouse.
So the 510,000, whatever that number is, that covers what?
Everything to about everything to that parking and turnaround after you take the right.
Okay, all right.
So it gets the road, but it
And-
doesn't do the turnaround and it doesn't do that last boat launch.
I'm sorry we don't have the image here, but there's a lot of work that happens here.
Well, this is, yeah. Where's the new boathouse going to be that the school is going to put
On
up?
the same location as the current one.
Where?
Down here.
It's way down.
Are they renovating the existing, or are they
Okay,
building?
that's where they're putting it.
I think the idea is to renovate it. I think once you started looking
It's a steel
at to do
The
it
skeleton.
to do it correctly though, you need to run utilities, and that's where you run into major costs making a run that long. So until there was a definite plan, everyone thought it was a bit premature to start dedicating funds to utilities until there's a defined use of the boathouse. But we wanted to remain to our commitment of public safety use as well as public access in phase one.
So the 510,000 doesn't just gets access for
It's
fire,
closed.
right?
No, the public also.
Okay, but I'm saying, the school piece,
The school piece is separate.
that's a separate, so is
We
there gonna
realign
be-
the driveway, we get public safety access, and we get public access all in phase one for $510,000.
So are we gonna be, is the plan to come back for more money for the next piece, or is that
I
gonna be?
think the next phase is to speak with the school about what we think the future use is and what kind of partnership could be there in terms of funding and how we could maybe better utilize their property to run utilities and master plan that
What
site.
was in the agreement, to get the
It
land
was,
swap?
it was silent on that,
Okay,
so we don't have an obligation
okay.
beyond building this road. So you'll see here, this is where you'd enter. And we're
Yeah, the land swap right there.
right here, that was the whole land swap, the triangle.
And the complication just here, just in terms of permitting, is you have to, obviously our Conservation Commission, Army Corps of Engineers, and MEPA review, and DEP approval for putting docks in the water, because to make sure you have the right depths and things like that. So there's a lot of permitting that we've started and already had some really good conversations on.
And that's one difference between here and the access behind the apartments. The ultimate goal is to keep a fireboat down here, and there's not an option of keeping the fireboat down the way. So obviously, if somebody's in the river and is in trouble, if you add in the launching the boat, it delays you, not by a ton of time, but it delays you, rather than just getting in. So a lot of excitement about the project. As Mike alluded to, the permitting is like really extensive. Adding the Army Corps of Engineers, adds probably 6 months.